Red Sox and Robert Kraft, but first with the C's. All right, they lose to the Bucks, which is an excusable loss, but last night to the Bulls, how does that happen, and what do you make of the comments we heard from Kyrie Irving, among others, afterwards?
It was weird because, Yanni, you got Kyrie Irving saying, I'm not worried, everything's fine. Marcus Smart is frustrated with the team effort, and Al Horford's kind of right in the middle, but more on Marcus Smart's side of things. Honestly, I look at it and say, well, Kyrie didn't start pointing fingers at anybody, so that's a positive sign. I don't want to go and give him that leader title already, but this is a step in the right direction for him. Regarding Smart, look, the thing that I was thinking about in the course of all this is Smart is used to playing on teams that need to scratch and claw to get to the postseason.
And overachieve.
Exactly. Kyrie Irving's not used to that.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the bigger picture right now, what's going on.
So I think there's some truth to what Kyrie is saying in that, hey, I've flipped a switch before, I've played with LeBron, that's how it sort of works in the NBA. As you mentioned, that's not how the Celtics have operated. So a loss to the Bulls when it's the, activation season, as LeBron calls it, worrisome, or you think the Celtics will be able to flip a switch when it gets important?
Look, it's bad. There's no two ways about it. It's a terrible loss to a team that you beat by 56 points before. But at the same time, the Celtics did come back. They didn't give up. And there have been plenty of games like that this year where they've fallen behind big, and then they really haven't been able to get back in competitively. And they did last night. Again, it's inexcusable, but I wouldn't call it a concern quite at this point. Toronto's game on, what is that, Monday? Tuesday. That's going to be the real barometer.
All right, let's switch gears to the Red Sox. Some actual game action this weekend down in Fort Myers, going against the Twins today. They played the Yankees yesterday. Let's start with JBJ, Jackie Bradley Jr. with a home run. And is this a sign of things to come? Because we saw his power numbers increase last year, but he has a different swing. What can you tell us about it?
So the thing that I've noticed about it first that jumps out is he kind of stops a little bit shorter on his swing, something we haven't seen in the past from him, or really many other hitters for that matter. But the other thing is his hands kind of stay locked the whole way. Now, he worked with J.D. Martinez, hitting coach, in the offseason. JD was known before coming to Boston for hitting the other way with power. JBJ, any lefty at Fenway Park, if they can hit the other way, they're going to see their numbers increase in terms of doubles, batting average. So it seems like that's kind of what's going on with JBJ. I know he pulled that home run today, but he saw back-to-back curveballs. That second one was a hanger. I mean, if you're not pulling that out of the yard, then I don't know what you're doing.
All right, Michael Chavis, one of the few Red Sox prospects who's on everyone's radar, has showed some pop thus far. Does he somehow find himself on the big league roster this year?
He's definitely going to put some pressure on Rafael Devers, that's for sure, if you're hitting bombs, the other way, and then the one today was an absolute nuke, Yanni. So, I mean, he's showing a lot of strength. If he's a consistent fielder, maybe he factors in elsewhere on the field. Not shortstop, obviously, but maybe second base in the future. I know they've tried to work him out there. I wouldn't mind seeing that because, look, if Pedroia isn't going to be able to be that everyday or kind of semi-everyday guy I think Dombrowski wants him to be. And then Brock Holt, we know what he is. He can only play so often and still be effective. That's how I see Chavis breaking in. Other than that, he's a valuable trade chipper with one of the catchers that the Red Sox might try and move.
Craig Kimbrell, your boy, said he's willing to sit out if he doesn't get his asking price, which is rumored to be north of $100 million.
Yeah.
What's he smoking?
I don't know. I want no part of it. And again, I still don't want any part of Craig if he's going to go and ask for that kind of money. I don't understand how any closer – look, I wouldn't pay Mariano Rivera that money in his prime. $100 million over 6 years? No thanks. Because as much as closers are valuable and there's a certain mental aspect to it, I don't see how Kimbrell is worth – I don't see how one guy pitching one inning every so often is worth that kind of money. And I think Ryan Brazier can be that guy. I don't think the Red Sox need to go and get a new closer. They just need another eighth-inning guy right now.
All right, finally, obviously the big news over the weekend, breaking on Friday, is Robert Kraft getting into some heat down in Florida. Based on what we know now, how do you see this story developing, and how, if at all, do you think it impacts the Patriots, and if he gets suspended by the NFL?
Well, I mean, I would think that if things end up going against Kraft, that he would be affected in terms of a fine. I wouldn't be surprised if he's suspended from some games as well. I know, as Bart Scott is throwing out takeaway draft picks, and there are others. People who don't like the Patriots are taking advantage of the situation to try and drag them through the mud. Look, I understand what Kraft did was inexcusable, but this is not the time to go and try and dump on the Patriots when what's going on down in Florida is a part of a much bigger issue.
Right. Now, Kraft has categorically denied any wrongdoing. Is that going to come back to haunt him if or when this video comes out? And do you think there's going to be a sit-down interview where he's, apologizing after initially fighting this?
I don't see how he comes out and things go his way. It's such a inexcusable situation to be involved in, and I think that there's no way you can spin this unless it's proven that it was somehow some other Robert Kraft. Outside of that, Yanni, I can't see how this works out well for him in the end.
We've had a lot of strange stories with the Patriots over the years. Where does this one rank for you?
I think this has to be number one.
Towards the top?
You wouldn't expect something like this from you wouldn't expect something like this from anybody. And then you have a guy who you and I have both seen in the locker room a fair amount, and we've dealt with him. I just wouldn't expect something like that. I wouldn't expect it from anybody that I deal with in my life.
Always surprising. Something coming out of Foxborough. All right, he's Nick Friar. He'll be in on Tuesday as we continue to talk Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, you name it here.